Welcome everyone. We appreciate everyone coming out and joining us today. We're really excited to be able to present our students that we've had this year. They've been really, really good. And as usual, Hamblen County educators, you guys put out some awesome students out of your high school programs. We're so proud of these four. They are just as high caliber as the ones that we've had in the past. Curtis and Sean, where are you? They are still with us, and they went through this co-op program a few years ago. They're still with us. We love them so much, and they don't want to leave, and we don't want them to leave, but they're in college now, so they come back to help us, and they've really worked with our high school students this year, so we're very grateful that we've had them. We feel very blessed that we've had these four right here, and as you see, when they come up here and show you their presentations, you'll see just how good they really are. We really feel like we've had the cream of the crop from the schools in this area, so we're really proud of you guys. As a matter of fact, we've had a couple that we've stayed on that we've kept. We're going to do that again in our district, and Heidi's going to stay with us and work at co-op this next semester in school. So she'll tell you a little bit about what she's been doing, and she's going to continue to do some of this for us. So to get our meeting started, whenever we have a meeting, we always start with a safety topic. We open every meeting with a safety topic. So the one that we've chosen today, the students have chosen, is the fact that schools are getting ready to start back soon. So we need to be mindful of our areas when we're driving through school zones to make sure we're watching for the children and pedestrians and that sort of thing. So that's going to be our opening topic. So what I'm getting ready to do now is get us started. I'm going to kick it off by giving it to one of our managers who had one of the students, and she's going to introduce. So I'm going to turn this over to Lisa Cooper, who's our Tech Services Lab Manager, and let her introduce the student that worked in her department. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Cooper. I'm the Tech Services Lab Manager here at Colortech. Over the past few months, I've had the pleasure of working with Stephen. Well, you guys are all in blue shirts, but the first one's sitting there. During his time here, he has taken a look at our products and how they process, and he has been trying to find correlations and trends that take it from a large-scale production process that allows us to look at a lab-scale process and understand how we formulate our products. And with that, I'm going to let him take over. This is Stephen.
Thank you, Lisa. Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Brown. I've been a technical service intern here at Colortech for the past 2 months. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from West High School earlier this year, and I'm going to Auburn University this fall to major in industrial engineering. My project here at Colortech actually has some similarities to my future major, and my project has been on the torque rheometer. The torque rheometer works by putting a sample in, heating up the sample, and mixing it. Now, in production, this is a smaller scale controlled version of what we have in production when you mix the sample. And I've been testing white samples on this. Now, whites are a lot of what we do at Colortech, so this has lots of implication in future production. What I'm measuring from this is torque energy. Now, this is my torque graph of all the samples that I ran. It is clunky, hard to read, and I'll try and explain a little bit for you though. This spike here is when you put the sample in, it is hard and trying to heat up, so it takes a lot of torque to spin and heat. And over time, it evens out a little bit, and because it's liquefied and heated and usually mixed. But a better way to look at this is energy. Energy and torque correlate quite well here because the highest torque runner, this blue sample, is also the highest energy runner. This is a much easier graph to read because it's easier. But a better way to look at this graph is when it's broken down into more similar products. Colortech made from their whites samples using this pigment here, from ranging from 30% of this pigment in the sample to 80% of this pigment in the sample. And here today, I've broken down 70% white runners, just like that blue line has stayed, And using this, you can better compare products and see their processability of production. And a similarity I want to point out here is that this blue product and this gray product are virtually the exact same, except for one additive called zinc stearate. Now this additive acts as a soak in production, helping lubricate the sample, pushing it through easier. And you can see that without this product, it comes at a very high energy, and with the product, it ends at a very much lower energy, making it a better runner in production. So a practical use of this data is to, where Colortech can, try and sell more of this product with the stearate, the additive, compared to without it. Some of the things I've learned about Colortech is the knowledge of machines in the industry. I work with many machines besides the torpedometer in the lab setting. I have developed very good Excel skills. I've had to make lots and lots of graphs. I've met some great new people along the way. And I've really learned how the work environment works. This is my first job. It's been a very enlightening experience for me. The people I want to thank are the tech service reps, last technicians, Lisa Cook, my supervisor, Casey, and the other tech service interns. Thank you. Next up is Melissa Bailey.
So I'm Melissa Bailey. I'm the Quality Assurance Manager here at Colortech. This summer we've had the privilege of having Liam Brewster in our Colortech labs here. Liam has been working on a project for us with film lines. We run film as part of our QA processes because a lot of our customers make film at the end. So he was doing some work comparing those our film lines and trying to get the quality criteria there. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Liam.
Hi everyone, I'm Liam Brewster. I was the Quality Assurance Lab intern for the past 2 months. A little bit about me, I'm going to be a rising senior at East, and I'm also going to be dual enrolling in Walter State next semester. This is where I worked for the past 2 months. This is the QA lab. A little bit about it, right here is the melt index machine. Over here are the ash ovens, over here is specific gravity. These are just some of the things that we use to make sure our product is good before we ship it out. And another big thing that we do, as Melissa said, was the film lines. We use them to test the product and see how it runs out. The first film line here is American-made Taskmaster's Randcastle. It's a little bit older. It has a bit of a rougher film. Steven's going to pass you out a little piece of that there and just pass it along. The next machine here is the DJ30. This is a newer Chinese-made machine. It has a lot cleaner film, as you can see, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to compare these two. Here's that film as well. Now, a little bit about the film line. Here's how they work. The resin's going to come into the hopper here. Then it's going to go through a single screw extruder down the middle, and then it's going to reach the die head once it mixes up and heats up. And the die head's going to get that shape we want that's nice and thin. So after the die head, it's going to hit the cooling rollers. The cooling rollers have a lot to do with the thickness of the film itself, the speed at which they're going, and obviously they're going to cool down the film. Here is the haze guard. So this is the machine I use to compare the two film lines. And how this works is I'm running haze, which is, it's almost like a clear film. It's what you're looking at. And what we're looking at, the statistic for that is light dispersion. And how we're measuring that is from the right side to the left side here. There's a light channel that comes through, and you're just measuring how much it disperses the light. So the numbers that we're going to get for that, the Randcastle is going to run around from a 5 to a 10, typically. And once you do the product in it, it's going to be around 10 to a 13.9. The DJ30 is going to run about from a 15 to a 30 with simple resin. And with product, it's going to be 30 to 41.7. The main thing we're looking for is consistency. Because if it's consistent, then we can use the DJ30 and plug it into a conversion equation to compare it to Randcastle statistics if another department's using the Taskmaster. So here's the graph that I got. This is all the films that I've been running all summer. This is the lower left-hand corner here. That's the Grand Castle, and up here is the DJ30. You can see it has the same sort of pattern there. That's what we're looking for. We want it to be identical. And the DJ30 is going to run about 3 times typically more than the Taskmaster. The control dips a little bit beneath there on both of them. And that was it for the project. So for the takeaways, I got a lot of experience in the workforce. I'm used to working in a little grease pal. It's not the same, you know. And I explored career path because I've looked at a lot of medical, a lot of engineering, and it showed me the engineering world. It was definitely very educational. So workplace integrity, again, that's different. You learn about being professional here. It's a different environment than working in a restaurant. Understanding usage of complex machinery. I've always wanted to be a hands-on sort of person, work with machinery. So it was awesome this summer to sit down and work with these machines and understand them. And then time management. Obviously, it's going to be different. Working with a 2-month project and timing it out and making sure you reach that end goal and thoroughly researching it as you're doing it. So thank you to Coy, Melissa, City, and Stone. You guys made this summer fun. So, and here is Jay.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Arnold. I'm the ISO coordinator here at Colortech. I work in the regulatory department, and this summer we've had Kelly as our intern. He has been phenomenal, a real go-getter this summer. He's been helping us implement our project, Operation Clean Sweep, which is an environmental project we've launched here at Colortech, hoping to reduce our pellet waste to 0 to have an environmental impact, not just here in Morristown, but across the globe. And with that, I'll hand it off to Ethan.
Thank you, Jamie. That's wrong. So as Jamie said, we were in the regulatory department, and over the past 2 months, I've been up there and I've been helping around. So before I start, I'd like to touch a little bit on my education career. I am a rising East High School junior, and I am the youngest intern we have here at Colortech. When I graduate in 2021, I plan on going to the University of Tennessee for 4 years, and I plan on majoring in business management. The project I was working on over the summer was implementing Operation Clean Sweep. And basically, I would go out in the factories at the rail spur and try to find possible places we were losing pellets or resin, ultimately losing money. When we found some of these problems, we had to bring it to the attention of management through PowerPoints and examples. And just a couple problems we had was here, this is where we were bringing resin into the building from the silos and then distributing it amongst the production lines. Now, we swept up what was on the floor on a Friday, and we came back on a Saturday. And this is what was left on the floor. This is about 3 pounds of pellets. And another place we had we were losing stuff was here. This is the rail car, and it's full of granular resin. And as you can see, this is a spill pan. This is what was coming out of the vent right here, and it was landing in the spill pan. We measured about, after half the car was pumped, and about 2 pounds came out, or 2 pounds per bag. I have 3 of these, and some of it we could not get. We did some math, and we determined that it's about 32 pounds per car, and that's 8 pounds per compartment. Once we figured out where the places were, where we were losing pellets, and we discussed it, we brainstormed some possible ideas, and I also researched many different ways to fix these problems. And many of these are being looked into. The goal of Operation Clean Sweep is to identify and eliminate any source of pellet spillage. Then that way we're saving the environment and we're also saving Colortech money. One thing I will add is that Operation Clean Sweep is not something that can be done in a day and a night and a week, maybe even 2 months. It's something that requires a lot of attention and a lot of effort. And I feel like during my time here, we've really knocked a big chunk of it out and felt like I gave Colortech a really good start. I wanted to say big thank yous to, or no, this is the wrong song. What I learned while I was here was it's okay to make mistakes, as I just did. And I walked in on my first day and I thought, everything's gotta be perfect. If it's not perfect, I'm gonna get fired. I learned very quickly that that's not the case. I talked to some people here and they said, as long as you have no malicious intent behind it and you learn from your mistakes, everything's gonna be okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. Teamwork, and I learned teamwork's a big one. I learned that teamwork in a business place is huge. It not only helps us be more efficient, but it also keeps the company running. Without teamwork, without production, and without sales, and without regulatory, without everybody working together to make this one well-oiled machine, then this company would not run, or any company would not run. Time management. This has always been a big thing for me. I would always find myself putting school projects off till the last night and finishing it at midnight and wondering why I did that to myself. But here I learned that if every day I set a goal to myself, a small goal, and then at the end of the 2 months, my project doesn't seem like I wasted my entire summer. I learned that every day I did something small and it ultimately led to my big goal. Real world problems. This is something that you always hear teachers talking about. They say when you get out in the real world, there's going to be these problems and you're going to have to figure out how to fix it. And nobody's going to be there to help you. And that always scared me. But then I learned that some of these places, some of these programs, the CTE programs, the internship programs, helps us figure out these real world problems. For example, the rail car where we're losing granular resin. I don't think I could have learned that at school where there is 2 pounds of granular resin popping out of a junction at half a car per day. I don't think I could have learned that at a school, in a book. That's just something that has to come through actually seeing it with hands-on work. Social skills is, I learned in a place like this that you gotta have friends. If you don't have friends, the day is gonna feel like forever. And when you always have a friend, it feels like the day goes by faster and everything just kind of works out. I wanted to give a big thank you to everyone from the regulatory department, Beth, Jamie, Sue, and Booker. They were all really, really helpful during this entire internship. Any questions I had, any concerns, they took care of it almost immediately. I also want to say thank you to Sean. Sean is an intern over here at Plant 2 in the QA lab, and any chance he would get, he'd come over to Plant 1 and help me with Operation Clean Sweep. And there'd be days I'd find myself out in the rail car, and he would come out and he'd show me some stuff that I missed. I also want to say thank you to Todd Martin. He is the lead warehouse technician. He does a lot of the work at the rail car, a lot of the pumping of the cars. He showed me a lot of the hands-on work, the physical work that I don't think anybody else can see without actually being there. And that was something really big for me. I also want to say thank you to Casey and everyone else from Colortech for making this a wonderful summer and probably the best 2 months I've ever had. Now I'll hand it off to Tioka Price and Catherine Clemens.
Hello, I'm Tioka Price, a senior credit analyst for our U.S. and Canadian facility. I handle all of the credit and collections. I've had the pleasure of working with Heidi the past few weeks, and she's done an excellent job and a fast learner. My name is Catherine Clemens. I'm the customer support supervisor here at Colortech. And one of my duties is to make sure that our customers have up-to-date and accurate pricing, and Heidi's played a key role in that by helping me update our customer price list. She's very detail-oriented and highly professional, and I really enjoy working with her. And with that, I'd like to introduce Heidi. Thank you all very much.
As I said, I'm Heidi Campbell. I was the office intern. I didn't really have one department. I was bouncing around all summer, which was super interesting. A little about me. I'm a rising senior at West High School. I've taken 2 years of French classes. I'm about to enter my 5th semester. I plan on attending Pensacola Christian College next fall for a major in business management and marketing, hopefully to become a research marketing analyst on a global scale in the long run. Since I worked in very different and a lot of departments this summer, I thought it'd be easier just to give you some faces for the names that I'm going to be talking about. So this is Catherine Clemens, you just heard from her, customer support supervisor. Mary Ellen, pricing administrative assistant. Casey is a human resource administrator. This is Erin, marketing specialist. Tioka, senior credit analyst. And Melissa Overholt, CSR. What have I done this summer? I didn't have one project slaving over a hot machine, thankfully. I was in the air-conditioned offices having multiple projects ranging from 2 days to 5 days, depending on which department it was. One thing that I was asked, and if you know anything about the business industry, Excel is a huge part of that. And so I was asked, how much experience have you had in Excel? And I'm gonna be honest, it started about right here. But I quickly had to adjust to formulas that look like this. There's a tariff implementation going on right now if you're keeping up with current events, and so this formula was used to look up which of our products were going to be affected by that. I was also able to use Power BI a little bit this summer, which is a new program by Microsoft. You give it as many inputs basically as you want, such as Access, Excel, MailChimp, any other databases. You put in whatever formulas you want on the front end, and it spits out information predicting budgetary items in the future, supply needs, basically anything you want as long as you know how to manipulate it. That was really cool to be able to experience. Also Photoshop and Illustrator, which I didn't see how those would fit in, but we'll talk about that in a second. And yes, to answer your question, a lot of filing this summer as the office intern. These were some examples that I got to work with Erin in marketing as Photoshop and Illustrator. We had to create mock-ups to be used for administrative approval of this tablecloth right here. You're gonna see some sale for hiring signs. Those are gonna be up maybe in the next couple of days. If you'll keep a lookout, keep Erin and I in mind because we worked really hard on those. This is another marketing project I worked on. This is the new Colortech website. Go check it out. It's actually really cool. And this is the analytics side of it. So we were able to measure the traffic that went on the website. And what you're looking at here is the trends. So this talks about the demographics. Now we're not sure exactly how accurate this is, but we were able to pull some numbers. Do we need to cater to younger generations? Do we need to cater more toward 35 and up? Just depends. This right here was the daily user average. So we were able to look on hourly, see how many active users we had, see how many broken down by day, which days and which times were our most active. This right here is a pie chart explaining what type of users we had. Were they returning users? Were they clicking on links to come, or did they search Colortech directly? That was super cool to see the back end of the website. This is an example of a spreadsheet that I got to work on. So I was in pricing and sales and credit this summer. So this is an example spreadsheet of what we would look at to contact our customers. Now it was super important because all of our pricing is customer specific. There's no across the board pricing really. So it was very important to keep little nuances like this to keep people's orders straight, 1-9 or 9-1. So we had to correctly email these customers about their order, about what prices they were paying, stuff like that. A few things that I've learned over the summer. Ask questions. It is super important to be open with your supervisors, to ask them. I learned that if you start off with, I'm an intern and I'm lost, they really understand why you're in the wrong building. There's always something to be learned. A lot of my summer was spent data entry and filing, but even though that can be monotonous, you can always learn about the people you're filing for. I was able to learn a lot about the growth of the company in the past year just by talking while I was putting paper into cabinets. Networking is more about confidence than anything else. I was able to have an amazing summer because I was unafraid to ask for projects to work on and to meet new people. And everyone files differently, both literally and figuratively. There's a lot of different ways to stick that piece of paper in the cabinet. But also, people work at different speeds. I was in 6 different departments over the course of the summer, sometimes 4 in a day. So I had to learn to switch gears as I switched people, which was at first a little rough, but I got used to it. It was a very great summer to learn how to do that. I would really like to thank all the departments I worked in. It was an amazing summer. It was well spent, and I got so much experience, and I'm going to be able to continue that this semester, which I'm super excited about. Colortech was a bit interesting because we had 4 interns in so many different departments, and it was cool to see at the end of the summer how we were each a part of the Colortech process. It usually started with me, price pages and credit forms, approving people, having them put their order in, which moved on to Ethan.
When we get the resin through the trains, we would then put it into the silos and distribute it to the production lines where it ties into Steve.
Who works in production and looks at the efficiency of making in production, moving on to
And quality assurance would make sure that we're giving our customers good product.
We would also like to thank Chuck Carter, Daniel Aldridge, and the Hamblen County CTE program, because without them having this program this summer, we wouldn't have had the valuable experience that we do. We also want to give a big shout out to Curtis for helping us put together this presentation. He's really helped us fine tune these past couple days. And at Colortech here, we always close with a safety topic. This one is going to be on personal protective equipment. With the production lines and the lab machines, it's super important to remember to wear your earplugs and wear your steel-toed boots and safety goggles as, products flying around. So we always want to remember to be safe. And we want to thank you all so much for coming to this today and for being our biggest supporters during all of this.
We're done. Thanks
All
very
right.
much.